This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Reshma Tiwari with the Midday News. The headlines. Pakistan National Assembly meets to decide the fate of Prime Minister Imran Khan. Hafiz Talha Saeed, son of Lashkar-e-Taiba Chief Hafiz Muhammad Saeed, notified as a terrorist under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. All above 18 years of age are eligible to get precaution dose of COVID-19 vaccines. Centre asks 5 states with high COVID cases to continue monitoring spread of infection. President Ramnath Kovind inaugurates National Conference on Mediation and Information Technology at Kevadia in Gujarat. In Uttar Pradesh, polling for 27 Legislative Council seats from local authorities' constituencies is underway. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu confers Sangeet Natak Academy Fellowship and Awards and National Awards of Lalit Kala Academy to eminent artists in New Delhi. India beat reigning world and Olympic champions the Netherlands 2-1 in FI8 Women's Hockey Pro League in Bhubaneswar. Indian shuttlers PV Sindhu and Kidambi Shrikant bow out of the Korean Open Badminton Championship, and in IPL cricket, Chennai Super Kings to lock horns with Sunrisers Hyderabad in Navi Mumbai and Mumbai Indians to take on Royal Challengers Bangalore in Pune today. Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan is to face no confidence motion in the National Assembly today. The session of the National Assembly began at 11 a.m. IST under the chairmanship of Speaker Asad Qaisar. Voting on the no confidence motion against the Prime Minister is the fourth item on the day's agenda. However, the session to decide the fate of Prime Minister Imran Khan was adjourned till 1 p.m. IST due to uproar in the National Assembly. The move comes after Pakistan's Supreme Court ruled that the dismissal of the no-confidence motion by Deputy Speaker Qasim Suri was unconstitutional. The Supreme Court had on Thursday ordered the government to hold voting on the motion today at all costs according to the agenda issued for the April 3rd session, when the Deputy Speaker rejected the motion through a ruling declaring it unconstitutional and a foreign conspiracy. The Apex Court also reconstituted the National Assembly, which was dissolved by the President on the advice of Imran Khan. On Sunday last, the no-confidence motion against Imran Khan's government was dismissed by the Deputy Speaker Qasim Suri. Meanwhile, US today once again turned down Imran Khan's allegations regarding the involvement of Washington in toppling his government through a no-confidence motion. In a press briefing, the Deputy State Department spokeswoman Jelena Porter said there is absolutely no truth to these allegations. She said the US government supports the constitutional process and rule of law in Pakistan. A senior leader of terrorist organization Lashkar-e-Taiba, Hafiz Talha Saeed, has been notified as a terrorist under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act 1967. Hafiz Talha Saeed is a son of Hafiz Muhammad Saeed and head of the cleric wing of Lashkar-e-Taiba. Ministry of Home Affairs in a notification said Hafiz Talha Saeed has been actively involved in recruitment, fund collection, planning and executing attacks by LET in India and against Indian interest in Afghanistan. The ministry said Hafiz Talha Saeed has been actively visiting various LET centers across Pakistan and during his sermon propagates jihad against India, Israel, United States of America and Indian interest in other Western countries.
The government has decided to make precaution dose of COVID vaccines available to 18-plus population group from tomorrow at private vaccination centers. The Union Health Ministry said all those who are more than 18 years of age and have completed 9 months after the administration of second dose will be eligible for precaution dose. The ministry said about 96% of all 15-plus population in the country have received at least one COVID-19 vaccine dose so far, while about 83% of 15-plus population has received both the doses. More than 2 crore 40 lakh precaution doses have also been administered to healthcare workers, frontline workers and 60-plus population group. The ministry said 45% of 12 to 14 years age group have also received the first dose. The ongoing free vaccination program through government vaccination centers for first and second dose to the eligible population as well as precaution dose to healthcare workers, frontline workers and 60-plus population will continue. The Health Ministry today highlighted that the precaution dose will be of the same vaccine which has been used for administration of first and second dose. It added that no fresh registrations would be required for precaution dose as all due beneficiaries are already registered on CoWIN. An orientation meeting of all health secretaries of states and union territories was held regarding precaution dose for 18 to 59-year-old population at private COVID vaccination centers, CVCs. Addressing the meeting, Health Secretary emphasized that the private CVCs will maintain the vaccination sites as per the guidelines. They can charge up to a maximum of 150 rupees as service charge for vaccination over and above the cost of the vaccine. He said that healthcare workers and frontline workers and citizens aged 60 years or more shall continue to receive precaution dose vaccination at any CVC, including free of charge vaccination at government vaccination centers. The ministry said that all vaccinations must mandatorily be recorded on the CoWIN platform, and both the options of online appointment and walk-in registration and vaccination will be available at private CVCs.
The Union Health and Family Welfare Ministry has advised Kerala, Maharashtra, Mizoram, Delhi and Haryana to continue monitoring the spread of COVID infection and undertake required steps for prompt and effective management of COVID-19. More from our correspondent.
Secretary of Health and Family Welfare Ministry Rajesh Bhushan has written letters to states and union territories saying that these have reported increase in weekly new cases and positivity rate. Union Health Ministry said there are few states which are reporting a higher contribution to country's daily new cases. The ministry has advised to monitor clusters of new COVID-19 cases and emphasize on adequate testing in areas reporting high case positivity. It has also been advised to give focus on vaccination of eligible people. In the letters, the ministry said it is essential that the state must maintain a strict watch and take preemptive action in the areas of concern to control any emerging spread of infection. Bhupender Singh, AIR News, New Delhi.
Over 185 crore 55 lakh vaccine doses have been administered so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. The Union Health Ministry said over 14,79,000 vaccine doses were administered yesterday. A total of 1,150 new cases were recorded and 83 deaths were reported in the last 24 hours. The recovery rate is currently at 98.76%.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that Jal Jeevan Mission is giving new impetus to the development of the country. In a tweet, he also said that in less than last 3 years, the water has reached crores of homes, which is a great example of public aspirations and public participation. The government has said drinking water facility has reached to over 17 lakh schools and Anganwadi Kendras. Since the launch of the Jal Jeevan Mission, tap water connections have been provided to over 9 crore 40 lakh households. In Uttar Pradesh, polling is going on peacefully on 27 out of 36 seats of Legislative Council from local authorities' constituencies. BJP candidates have been elected unopposed on 9 seats. Voting will continue till 4 p.m. Our correspondent reports that the polling began at 8 a.m. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath was among the first to cast his vote. Mr. Yogi reached the Nagar Nigam polling booth in Gorakhpur and used his franchise. Union Minister Smriti Irani voted at the Gauriganj block in Amethi. UP Assembly Speaker Satish Mahana voted in Kanpur. The total strength of the Uttar Pradesh Legislative Council is 100, in which currently BJP has 35 members, Samajwadi Party 17, Bahujan Samaj Party 4, and the Congress, Apna Dal Sonilal and Nishad Party have 1 each. Currently, 37 seats are vacant in the Legislative Council.
In Ladakh, keeping in view the political developments in the Ladakh Autonomous Hill Development Council, LAHDC Kargil, Chief Executive Officer Santosh Sukhdev postponed the General Council meeting scheduled for today. As per an order of the CEO, 6 councillors of Bharatiya Janata Party and 6 councillors of Indian National Congress have withdrawn their support to the present dispensation of LAHDC Kargil of J&K National Conference led by Firoz Ahmad Khan. In separate letters, they requested for initiating the floor test process under Section 27(2) of the LAHDC Act. The section of the Act provides that the chairman may be removed from the office by a resolution carried by a majority of the total number of councillors at a special meeting of the council called for the purpose upon a requisition made in writing by not less than one-third of such members of the council. The CEO said that GCM has been postponed till position of all the councillors is cleared with regard to their support to the present dispensation. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla has said that India is a strong supporter of democratic values and governance, and our democratic system is one of the oldest democracies in the world. He was addressing the inaugural session of the two-day Executive Committee meeting of Commonwealth Parliamentary Association (CPA) in Guwahati today. The Lok Sabha Speaker said Indian people strongly believe in democratic system of governance, and large number of people's participation in elections proves this.
नीचे से ऊपर तक हमारा लोकतंत्र सशक्त है और इसमें देश के 90 करोड़ से अधिक मतदाता सक्रिय रूप से भागीदारी निभाते हैं और जिस सहज रूप से जनता का जनादेश के आधार पर सत्ता का सहज स्थानांतरण भारत में लोकतंत्र में होता है, इससे लगता है कि भारत का लोकतंत्र बहुत सशक्त है, मजबूत है। भारत का लोकतंत्र दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा कार्यशील लोकतंत्र है।
Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma, Legislative Assembly Speaker Biswajit Daimari and CPA Acting Chairperson Ian Liddell Granger were present during the inaugural ceremony. A total of 75 delegates from 12 countries participated in the meeting and 13 nations participated virtually.
You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Pakistan National Assembly meets to decide the fate of Prime Minister Imran Khan. Hafiz Talha Saeed, son of Lashkar-e-Taiba Chief Hafiz Muhammad Saeed, notified as a terrorist under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. All above 18 years of age are eligible to get precaution dose of COVID-19 vaccines. Centre asks 5 states with high COVID cases to continue monitoring spread of infection. President Ramnath Kovind inaugurates National Conference on Mediation and Information Technology at Kevadia in Gujarat. In Uttar Pradesh, polling for 27 Legislative Council seats from local authorities constituencies is underway. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu confers Sangeet Natak Academy Fellowship and Awards and National Awards of Lalit Kala Academy to eminent artists in New Delhi. India beat reigning world and Olympic champions the Netherlands 2-1 in FIH Women's Hockey Pro League in Bhubaneswar. Indian shuttlers PV Sindhu and Kidambi Shrikant bow out of the Korean Open Badminton Championship, and in IPL cricket, Chennai Super Kings to lock horns with Sunrisers Hyderabad in Navi Mumbai and Mumbai Indians to take on Royal Challengers Bangalore in Pune today. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
Welcome back to the Midday News. President Ramnath Kovind has called for scientific training and other steps for wider acceptance of mediation before and even after litigation. He said information and technology has played a crucial role in the judiciary during the difficult time of the pandemic.
Amid unprecedented human misery during the last 2 years or so, if there was a saving grace, it was from information and communication technology. Dispensation of justice, too, was made possible with virtual hearings when physical gatherings had to be avoided. Even before the pandemic, the justice delivery system had benefited from the ICT to improve the quantity and quality of the services delivered to litigants and all stakeholders.
Mr. Kovind was addressing the inaugural ceremony of the National Conference on Mediation and Information Technology organized by the High Court of Gujarat at Kevadia in Narmada district today. Speaking on the occasion, the Chief Justice of India, N.V. Ramana, emphasized on resolving disputes through mediation. He said that we should adopt foresight to resolve conflicts in a peaceful and neutral environment.
Conflicts have a human face. One must have the foresight to look beyond the conflict. A dispute should not spoil your relationship. A prolonged litigation can not only drain your resources but also cause animosity. It is not necessary that every conflict or difference of opinion must find its way to the courts. But these differences can be resolved in a neutral environment where both parties are in a win-win situation. After all, life is a balancing act.
Union Minister for Law and Justice Kiren Rijiju called for better reforms in the judiciary to reduce the burden of cases for speedy justice. He assured that the Government of India is committed to meet all requirements of the judiciary.
Our government, headed by Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji, is committed to speedy justice delivery system. And we all know how much our judges are working on that. With huge numbers of pending cases before various courts, from the lowest court to the Supreme Court, it is urgently felt by everyone that we have to look towards the path of alternative dispute resolution.
Gujarat Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel praised the role of information and technology for rollout of government welfare schemes at the grassroots level. He said the Gujarat High Court has also initiated a series of steps, including live broadcast of court proceedings in the state. Governor of Gujarat Acharya Devvrat said, in the present global situation, Atmanirbhar and united India is the need of the hour. Our correspondent reports that Chief Justices as well as senior-most judges along with the registrars of various high courts are attending the conference. President Kovind will inaugurate Madhavpur Ghed Fair 2022 at Madhavpur in Porbandar district tomorrow during his 3-day visit to Gujarat. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu today conferred the Sangeet Natak Academy Fellowship and Sangeet Natak Awards for the year 2018 and National Awards of Lalit Kala Academy to eminent artists at a special function held in New Delhi today. Sangeet Natak Academy Fellowship was given to 4 artists, while 40 others were honoured with Sangeet Natak Academy Awards. Lalit Kala Academy Awards were given to 23 personalities, including 3 fellows. The 4 fellows who have been awarded with Sangeet Natak Academy Fellowship are Tabla Maestro Zakir Hussain, Jatin Goswami, Dr. Sonal Man Singh and Tiruvidai Maradur Kuppaya Kalyana Sundaram. They have been honoured for their eminent contribution in the field of the performing arts. The Lalit Kala Academy has awarded the prestigious fellowships to 3 outstanding artists, Himmat Shah, Jyoti Bhatt and Shyam Sharma. Speaking on the occasion, Vice President Venkaiah Naidu said that the artists of the country have strengthened the thread of continuity, connecting its rich past in all its glory to the present and future. Mr. Naidu said it is the duty of each one of us to preserve and promote India's grand cultural traditions and various art forms. Union Minister for Culture G. Kishan Reddy said that culture and arts are the soul of Indian community and therefore it is important to preserve and promote the country's ancient culture and arts. Talking to AIR News, folk singer and Sangeet Natak Academy awardee Malini Awasthi appealed to the youth to preserve and promote the country's rich traditions and culture.
In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, the roots of Jan Bhagidari in the governance process have now further deepened with the launch of monthly radio broadcast Awam Ki Awaaz, which goes on air on all local and primary channels of All India Radio in Jammu and Kashmir, News on AIR app, on Doordarshan's DD Kashmir channel, on the 3rd Sunday of every month at 11 in the morning. In the program, Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha voices valuable insights from general public for crafting and formulating a strategy to draft developmental policies that are reflective of people's aspirations and making the governance more inclusive and sensitive to the needs of the people. More from our correspondent.
The Awam Ki Awaaz is a novel initiative aimed at seeking the feedback from the public and giving them a platform to share their suggestions and views to make the process of governance in Jammu and Kashmir more participatory. The episodes of Awam Ki Awaaz receive huge response across the Union Territory, with people in big numbers tuned to their radio and television sets to know the paradigm shift in the overall governance process in Jammu and Kashmir. On completing 1 year of Awam Ki Awaaz program last month, Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha has expressed his gratitude to all the citizens of Jammu and Kashmir for their valuable contributions in the participatory development process to fulfill the aspirations of every section of society. Mr. Sinha was also thankful to All India Radio and Doordarshan for their continuous support in making Awam Ki Awaaz a grand success. This is Sunil Kohl for AR News from Srinagar.
And now let's listen to our special program Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle. Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav.
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a Nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of this struggle every day.
Today we remember freedom fighter Mia Sahib Khurd, who belonged to Aurangabad, Maharashtra. He actively participated in the First War of Independence in 1857. Mia Sahib fought the British at different places in the Nirmal area of Aurangabad. He was killed in an encounter with the company's army advancing towards Nirmal on the 9th of April 1860. AIR News salutes the martyr.
We remember Shair-e-Kashmir, Ghulam Ahmad, who is popular by his pen name Mehjoor, who died on the 9th of April 1952. Mehjoor worked in the government of the erstwhile princely state of Jammu and Kashmir. As a result of this, he travelled far and wide in the valley, getting acquainted with the plight of the landless peasantry. This familiarity with destitute farmers left a deep imprint on his poetic style. He took poetry out of the confines of elite literary circles and ascribed to it the language of common folk, that is Kashmiri. Rabindranath Tagore called Mehjoor the Wordsworth of Kashmir.
His poem Vallo Ha Bagwano was adopted as an anthem of resistance, the rallying cry for the freedom movement in Kashmir. He calls out to his people to nurture their garden, ascribing personal responsibility to rise up against oppression.
Vallo ha bagwano no bahar rukshan paida kar, pholan gul gas karan bulbul tithui saman paida kar, pholan gul gas karan bulbul tithui saman paida kar.
His poems gave momentum to the struggle and served as a clarion call to the masses to free their nation from the chains of bondage. In another beautiful poem, Gulshan Vatan Chusonai, Mehjoor expresses his love for the nation with pride.
Bulbul vanan chuposhan gulshan vatan chusoni and the safed sangar devari sangi marmar.
The government of India released a postal stamp in 2013 to commemorate Ghulam Ahmad Mehjoor. AIR News pays tribute to the great nationalist.
We also remember Sharan Rani, who was born on the 9th of April 1929. She was an Indian classical instrumentalist and was India's first woman sarod exponent and came to be popularly known as Sarod Rani. She was born in Old Delhi. Sharan Rani learned to play the sarod from Ustad Alauddin Khan and his son Ali Akbar Khan.
चांदनी चौक में एक गली है जिस गली का नाम है जुगल किशोर. उसके अंदर हमारे बाबा जी के परिवार के सब मकान हुआ करते थे. उसी एक मकान में हम 10 भाई बहन थे और मैं सबसे छोटी. उस समय अंग्रेजों का राज था. दिल्ली में शोर मचा हुआ था क्योंकि 8 अप्रैल को भगत सिंह ने असेंबली में बम फेंका और 9 अप्रैल को मेरा जन्म हुआ.
She played a vital role in introducing and popularizing Indian classical music abroad.
Sharan Rani also actively participated in India's struggle for freedom. Over the years, she silently helped many Indian independence activists in need. She never turned down a request for a noble cause and gave many performances for charitable and worthy causes. Sharan Rani taught music through the Guru Shishya Parampara and never took any fees from her students.
Sharan Rani also wrote the history of the Sarod titled The Divine Sarod, Its Origin, Antiquity and Development, which was released in 1992 by K.R. Narayanan, the then Vice President of India.
A second edition of the Divine Sarod was released in 2008 by I.K. Gujral, former Prime Minister of India. After battling cancer for a few years, she died on the 8th of April 2008, a day before her 80th birthday. We salute the great daughter of the nation.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
आजादी के आंदोलन के खजाने में ऐसे ढेरों शब्द जिन्होंने बदल दिए इतिहास, तारीख बदलने वाले लफ्जों पर आकाशवाणी समाचार प्रसारित कर रहा है विशेष कार्यक्रम धरोहर हर सोमवार।
In sports, Indian shuttlers PV Sindhu and Kidambi Shrikant's run at the Korean Open Badminton Championship ended today after they failed to enter the finals. In the women's singles semi-final played at Palma Stadium in Suncheon today, Sindhu lost to South Korea's An Soo-young 21-14, 21-17, while Shrikant went down to Indonesia's Jonathan Christie 21-19, 21-16 in the men's singles semi-final. India registered their first win against reigning world and Olympic champions, the Netherlands, in over a decade with a clinical 2-1 verdict in an FIH Women's Hockey Pro League match in Bhubaneswar. This was India's fourth win in the FIH Pro League. The victory took India to the second spot in the standings with 15 points from 7 games, while the Netherlands continued to lead the table with 17 points from as many matches. And in the IPL cricket, Chennai Super Kings will lock horns with Sunrisers Hyderabad at D.Y. Patil Stadium in Navi Mumbai today at 3:30 p.m, while Mumbai Indians will take on Royal Challengers Bangalore at Maharashtra Cricket Association Stadium in Pune in the evening at 7:30 p.m. Last night, Gujarat Titans defeated Punjab Kings by 6 wickets in a thrilling encounter at Brabourne Stadium in Mumbai. Chasing a victory target of 190 runs, Gujarat Titans achieved the target in last ball with 6 wickets in hand. Earlier put into bat, Punjab Kings scored 189 runs for 9 wickets in 20 overs.
In Kerala, isolated heavy rain accompanied by lightning and thunderstorm has been forecast in different parts till Tuesday. Alerts have been issued to various districts. A temporary ban has been imposed on fishing in the sea today and tomorrow, following the Indian Meteorological Department forecasting high-velocity wind over Kerala. The pre-monsoon showers in Kerala have caused crop loss and damages to houses in many parts. Untimely downpour accompanied by strong wind and lightning have battered Kannur and the high-range districts of Idukki and Wayanad in recent days. Now let us take a look at the weather update for the day. National capital Delhi is expected to have heat wave. Minimum temperature was recorded at 24 degrees, while the maximum is expected to be around 42 degrees Celsius. Mumbai is expected to have a mainly clear sky. Minimum temperature was 26 degrees, maximum expected to be around 35. Chennai is likely to have a partly cloudy sky. Minimum temperature was 27 degrees, maximum expected to be 35. Kolkata is likely to have a mainly clear sky. Minimum temperature was 25 degrees, maximum will be around 34 degrees. And now before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Pakistan National Assembly meets to decide the fate of Prime Minister Imran Khan. Hafiz Talha Saeed, son of Lashkar-e-Taiba Chief Hafiz Muhammad Saeed, notified as a terrorist under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. All above 18 years of age are eligible to get precaution dose of COVID-19 vaccines. Centre asks 5 states with high COVID cases to continue monitoring spread of infection. President Ramnath Kovind inaugurates National Conference on Mediation and Information Technology at Kevadia in Gujarat. In Uttar Pradesh, polling for 27 Legislative Council seats from local authorities constituencies is underway. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu confers Sangeet Natak Academy Fellowship and Awards and National Awards of Lalit Kala Academy to eminent artists in New Delhi. India beat reigning world and Olympic champions the Netherlands 2-1 in FIH Women's Hockey Pro League in Bhubaneswar. Indian shuttlers PV Sindhu, Kidambi Shrikant bow out of the Korean Open Badminton Championship. And in IPL cricket, Chennai Super Kings to lock horns with Sunrisers Hyderabad in Navi Mumbai. Mumbai Indians to take on Royal Challengers Bangalore in Pune today. And with that, we end the midday news.